Alright, so this video is pretty exciting for me. I know there's been a couple videos out already, but there's a new movie coming out called The Creator, and it's completely shot on the FX3. Now, look, I don't know all the details yet. IMDb originally listed it with the ARRI Alexa 65 and the FX3, and then we just assumed that, the big visual effects shots would have been on the ARRI 65, and then the nighttime shots would have been on the FX3, but apparently they've updated it, and now the ARRI's gone, and now it's just the FX3. So I don't know what's going on yet. No one really has all the information, but what we do know is that apparently most of it, if not all of it, was shot on the camera that's filming me right now, which is the FX3. Greg Fraser, an amazing cinematographer, Australian, can't get better, right? He pretty much said in a podcast long ago that he was going to shoot a movie in Thailand entirely on the FX3. He was talking about the fact that it has such a great ISO and the dual ISO of obviously 12,800, but it's such a small portable camera that can shoot these kind of qualities. I guess the question really comes down to, were they shooting RAW, like external RAW 16-bit, which ends up being 12-bit RAW once it gets compressed, or were they using one of the internal codecs? Is there possibly an Sony RAW that we haven't received an update for yet? These are questions I'm really curious about. Though I am starting to think maybe there is an internal Sony RAW option that is not available for us yet and may come in a future firmware. Now, if that was the case, guys, that would be absolutely revolutionary. That would be incredible. I know Nikon is now doing that. Red obviously had the pattern before for compressed RAW, but then Nikon started doing it, and now I think sooner than later, Sony and Canon are going to catch up, and they're going to be doing it too. And that's going to be incredible. Now, from what I've seen, reading the posts and looking at articles, it looks like it's been shot on the Atlas Orions and the Atlas Mercuries, which, if you guys don't know, this is 1.5 times anamorphic lenses and 2 times anamorphics. These anamorphic lenses are relatively affordable when you consider them to something like ARRI anamorphics, which can cost you anywhere like from 40,000-50,000 per lens, while these lenses will set you back like under 10k per lens, or about 30,000 for a kit, like for a 3-piece kit of these lenses, which is crazy, guys. Obviously, lighting and all these other factors come into play, and I guess one of my big questions is not that the fact that the FX3 is a bad camera, but what is the other reasons besides obviously portability and perhaps the low light sensitivity that it has, that they would choose this over, let's say, the FX6, for example? Again, the FX6 is quite relatively small camera as well when you compare it to something like the Venice or the ARRI, the Reds, right? They're a lot more bulky once they're all set up. So I'm really curious to know more about this when we get a more definitive answer down the track. But the fact that now they're making Hollywood movies on pretty much these pro-consumer, but I would even say, I don't really want to say entry level, but these little smaller cinema cameras now have so much punch and so much value that most of us, and again, I'm not going to say all of us, because the FX3 by any means isn't the cheapest camera, right? There's a lot more cheap options, but the fact that a sub $6,000 Australian camera is being used on a Hollywood high budget movie is incredible, guys. Like, come on, that's amazing. I'm in awe. And I know they've done in the past, they've used the 5D Mark III and all this, but these were for like little shots here and there. But an entire movie, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty crazy. And Greg Fraser, being such a renowned cinematographer, shooting Rogue One and all these other great movies, to choose this camera, it must mean there's something really special about this piece of camera. And we all know that. We all know, like, if we've used the A7S III and the hype around the FX3, we know how good of a camera it is. But to use it now on a Hollywood movie, guys, it's honestly breathtaking. I'm super excited, and with amazing cast, this is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And I can't wait for the BTS to hear what they're going to say in terms of why they use this camera, why they chose the Mercury and the Orions. Like, even though they're amazing lenses, I just want to hear what their like kind of mindset was when picking these items, because I'm so curious, and it's such an exciting film as well from the look of it. It's original. It's not like the typical kind of, alien invading all this stuff. It's a little bit different, and I like that. So super forward and super stoked to see this in September. Still a little while away. Hopefully we'll get some new updates soon. Everything's sort of in the dark at the moment, and I'm not sure exactly why, though I can't wait. The anticipation has definitely risen, and I can't wait to see what's going to come of this and what was shot using the FX3, if it was the entire film. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys believe that it was shot completely on the FX3? Do you think the ARRI was also used? What are your thoughts on this, guys? Like, I'd love to hear your feedback, because for me personally, I'm trying to believe it was all shot on the FX3, but it just seems crazy to wrap your head around, right? Like, it's not that it's a bad camera. It's just like, did they really? And could it be internal Sony RAW, which we haven't gotten that update yet, but they got like a pre-early update for that particular shoot? Let me hear your thoughts. I'd love to know. And as always, if you guys haven't already, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Be good. Talk to you soon.